Your hand lifts toward a glass of water, and for a split second, you watch it move as if it belongs to someone else. The intention arrives, the arm obeys, and only afterward do you feel the decision to do it. This tiny delay, this shiver in the timeline of your own actions, is the first crack in a much larger lie you tell yourself every day. That when you think harder, you get closer to the truth. Consider the last time you struggled with a choice. You turned it over, weighed every angle, built a neat tower of reasons. It felt like clarity, that distinct hum of effort in your skull. The feeling is so persuasive that we treat it as proof of correctness. But this is the opening of our descent, the innocent question that starts everything. If effort equals accuracy, why does the hardest thinking often end in the worst decisions? The surface answer, the one most people carry, is that thinking hard is the gold standard of the mind. We call it reasoning, rigor, being thorough. We admire the person who sweats over a problem, and we trust their conclusion precisely because it cost them something. Our whole culture leans on this. The longer the deliberation, the sounder the verdict. And your brain reinforces it with a reward, a little flush of confidence when the argument finally clicks into place. But that flush, that certainty, is not a measure of truth. It is a measure of something else entirely. And here is where the surface answer starts to itch, because you have also lived the opposite moment. The choice you agonize over for days, then reversed in an instant, wondering why you wasted the effort. The clarity you felt at the time did not protect you. It simply felt like it should have. The certainty that did not protect you is the first crack most people try to seal back up. If that moment felt familiar, if you have argued your way to a decision and then quietly reversed it, stay with this channel, because we are about to widen the crack until the mechanism shows itself. In the comments, drop the word flush if you have ever trusted that feeling of hard-won clarity and later had to reverse it. It is a small word for a large glitch. Let me show you something that does not fit. There is a simple, repeatable experiment where people are asked to choose between strawberry jams and afterwards to explain their choice in detail. Another group just picks the one they prefer without any analysis. The second group, the ones who did not overthink, end up more satisfied with their choice. The ones who forced the reasons into words picked a jam they later liked less. The contradiction is right there. The effort was real, the reasoning was sincere, and the outcome was worse. Not equal, worse. And this is not a glitch in the system. It is the system working exactly as designed. Because the part of your mind that explains things in words is not the part that knows what it likes. When you force it to take the wheel, it drives over the quiet knowledge it cannot articulate. I want to pause here, because this is the moment most people feel a chill run down their back. Think about the times you were absolutely certain you were right, the argument you rehearsed, the verdict you justified, the conviction you held with your whole chest. That certainty was built from words, from reasons you assembled after the fact, and the experiment suggests those reasons were not the cause of your choice. They were the explanation you wrote to make the choice feel lawful. This is the second layer, and it gets stranger. When you put feelings into words, you do not just describe them, you rewrite them. The act of naming something forces it into the shape of language, which is a simplified, linear version of what you actually experience. You lose texture. You lose the parts that do not have names, and then you mistake the labeled version for the original thing. There is a name for this, and once you see it, you will notice it everywhere. It is a well-documented phenomenon where describing something you have seen actually damages your memory of it. Give someone a brief flash of a face, and they are quite good at picking it out again later. But ask them to describe the face in words first, and their accuracy drops. The verbal description overwrote the visual impression. That overwriting is not a small side effect. It is the same mechanism you will meet again in every story you tell about yourself. If watching this layer peel back is why you are still here, save this video for the next time a clean explanation starts to replace a messy memory. In the comments, write "Somos a lente que revela o oculto" if you have ever described something and felt the original quietly dissolve under your own words. Then tell me which part vanished first, the face, the texture, or the feeling behind it. The same mechanism touches everything. That is why a preference, once explained, stops feeling like yours. That is why a problem, once forced into a tidy argument, loses its messy truth. The narration is not neutral. It is a filter, and filters work by removing content. When you think harder, you are not adding information. You are compressing it, and compression always loses something. Now watch what happens. Here is the part most people miss on first pass. Your brain does not know the difference between a truthful explanation and a confident one. It rewards both the same way. The feeling of coherence, of a story that hangs together without holes, is chemically identical whether the story is accurate or fabricated. Your certainty is a design feature, not a quality check. So the more effort you pour into assembling a story, the more fluent and complete that story becomes, and the more your brain rewards you with confidence. The conclusion feels inevitable. The reasons feel airtight, but the only thing that got better is the narrative, not the reality it points to. You have polished a mirror and called it a window. And if this is true, think about what it does to the big decisions of your life. The career choice you defended to your family. The relationship you listed reasons for and against. The belief you hold so tightly that you could write a book on it. Every one of those was assembled with effort, and everyone carries that same false glow of coherence. The harder you worked, the more real it felt. The more real it felt, the less you questioned it. I need you to sit with that for a moment because this is the deepest layer and it hurts. The cost is not just a wrong choice now and then. The cost is that you have developed a habit of trusting the loudest voice in your head, the one that speaks in sentences, and ignoring the quieter one that does not. And the quiet one, the one without words, is often the one that knew first and knew better. So we arrive at the exposed mechanism. Thinking harder makes you wrong because effort does not refine reality, it rewrites it. It trades the full, textured, contradictory truth for a simplified story that feels complete. The more you push, the cleaner the narrative becomes, and the cleaner the narrative, the farther it drifts from what is actually true. The effort is real. The clarity is real. The confidence is real. None of them are evidence. That is the whole inversion. Delivered exactly as the title promised. The effortful mind is not a better camera. It is a better editor. It does not capture more light. It crops the frame until the picture looks like a message, and you have spent a lifetime mistaking the crop for the photograph. This is the crop, and once you see it, the photograph never looks whole again. If you have followed the descent this far, come back for the next chapter, because what remains after the mechanism is exposed is the part most people never reach. Before you go, place the word crop in the comments if you caught yourself working harder and seeing less, mistaking the cleaner story for the truer one. That mark is how we know you saw the frame and not the room. So what remains? When the clarity is no longer proof. You carry a set of tools that you were never told about. The words are one tool. The hesitation before the words is another. The bodily tug of a choice before you rationalize it is another. You have had them all along, but you were trained to value only the loud one. When you notice the next wave of conviction rising, the next perfectly argued certainty, you can pause and ask what was cropped to make that story smooth. You can feel the difference between a conclusion that was reached and a conclusion that was written. The power is not in thinking less. The power is in knowing which tool is in your hand. And I want to leave you with a small image. Picture a room you know perfectly, the one you walk through in the dark without switching on the light. You know its shape, its furniture, its exact geography. Now picture describing that room to someone in words. Every corner, every object. Somewhere in the retelling, it stops being the room you live in. It becomes a map of the room. And if you stare at the map long enough, you will start to think the map is the space. The quiet furniture, the parts you have no clean name for, the knowledge that precedes the sentence, those are still there, humming behind the language. You do not need to turn on the light to know your way. You only need to stop trusting the map over the memory of your own feet. The next time your mind hands you a flawless explanation, ask yourself one question. Is this the room or is this the drawing of the room?